ordering chaos.
Whitney is not coming. She just seemed like, oh, we're not on the way to Pasadena.
Then you want to be self-referential. How have your clients benefited from you being part of the people? Right.
Y'all ready to start?
She's online, supporter. We don't when you're on migrate to cycle. Maybe that guy.
You would have been good at that.
What's that?
You nailed it. You would have been so good at that.
It's teed off.
Oh, I do it all the time. I need to check clients.
I'm like, wait. Because I love Liz, I mean, Liz, I love you.
Get the hell outside.
I'll tell you what happened on that senior. So, whatever you want.
Okay. I think it's going to be all that's going
All right. So, hello, everybody, online audience, later on, and live audience. Chapter 2 of where they were and where they are now. We have a team set up, kind of a Q&A conversation / interrogatory. So the idea today is to just have find people introduce themselves and talk a little bit about what it is to be either a team leader or part of the team. And we're going to discuss some few questions. And basically, the key to this is asking them, hey, what made you want to go in that direction versus going the regular route, like most of us started. So let's start with, we have Jonathan Crawford here with Everhome, correct? Jonathan Mifflin.
Last name.
Mistake number 1, we're not following the script. Jonathan Mifflin, my apologies, Everhome Real Estate in Georgetown. Liz Hodge with Winter Circle. Team leader, and then Carter Rowland, who is the ambassador, or one of the ambassadors of the Winter Circle. So I'm going to try to semi-follow the script, but I'm going to start with Jonathan. So what got you interested? Tell us a little bit about how you got started in real estate, how long have you been doing it for, and when did you decide to go keep route versus the individual agent?
So I've been in real estate going on 7 years now. I started with a different company here in Lexington. I actually started on a team, so I started as a team member. It was a natural fit for me at that time because I knew the team leaders of the team that I was joining. They were also longtime Georgetown residents. Our families kind of, knew each other from a long, long time ago, right? So it was the way I was introduced to real estate was via this team. So joined that team, stayed with that team for 5 years until COVID. And COVID kind of changed the way that we did everything. We stopped meeting as a team. Obviously, like everybody did, we stopped going into the office. Things just kind of changed a little bit, and that's when I decided to make the jump over to Lifestyle, which I'm very glad I did, obviously. My partner, our current team, was also with Keller, with the other company.
With those on that,
Yeah. And so we talked, he was on a team, a different team there, I was on a team. We talked, decided to make the jump together, and it's a sort of kind of team. It's a partnership more than it is like a true team, because we don't have buyer's agents, we don't have, we do have an admin, but we don't have team members per se. We're 50-50 partners in Everhome Real Estate Group. And so we've been doing that since the end of 2020.
Very cool. And just so that people know, what did you do before real estate?
A lot of things. So I've been in sales most of my life. most of my professional life. Right before real estate, I actually got a job at Toyota, which is the largest, employer in Georgetown where I'm from. And I was on the line at Toyota and learned very, very quickly that that's not what I wanted to do. So got my real estate license while I was working second shift there and jumped once I had 3 years in my belt.
Well, fantastic. And just so that people also know, you guys have, we have an office in Georgetown also,
Yes,
which is relatively close to the Kroger
correct.
out there. So if you ever, you can go and pick up, and there's some good food around there too. So I might see these guys in there at some point. All right. Liz Hodge, tell us the short version.
The short version,
Yes, the Liz Hodge short story of who are you before, what got you in, this is getting personal, I know. And just give us what were you doing before, what brought you to real estate, and then once you got into real estate, what was that journey like that led you to then want to start your business?
Okay, so I joke that I'm kind of the Forrest Gump of having done everything beforehand. I worked every job you can imagine, but I was a nurse for 10 years. And then I actually went through a divorce, and I was like, I don't want to have my 2 little girls like in office hours and have to work with that. So I need something more entrepreneur, and I wanted to be my own boss. I wanted to make as much money as I could hustle for. So a girlfriend came to me. She was actually doing real estate at the time, and she said, I think you'd be great at this. And I was like, I'm gonna suck at this. I was like, I am not salesman-y at all. I am like not aggressive in that way. Little to know, I actually am aggressive in that way. I figured that out as I got on. Yeah, so I got into real estate, and I was with a different brokerage. I started out with what is now Whitebird, and Ty Brown and Diane Emmerich. And I was really scared about commission work. So I worked a secondary job the entire time to kind of give me trickle income. And at one point, Eli had to take me out to lunch. He's like, let me just take you out to lunch. He's like, no, I'm not recruiting you. I'm just taking you out to lunch for 3 years in a row. And then he finally is like, what are you paying your commissions for? And he slid over what I was giving to my brokerage at the time. And I was like, oh my God, like, what are they doing for me for that? So I came on with Eli. At a certain point, Eli's like, your career's taking off. You need to drop your other job. I was terrified, but I listened to Eli. I did that. It took off. And then at one point, about 2 years ago, I had 15 listings. I had 25 buyers all at the same time. I was insane. I had like folders flying everywhere. I was like dropping deals. I was having trouble. And Eli came to me and he's like, you need help. He's like, you just need somebody else. Yeah, and I was like, no, I don't. I'm in control. I got this. And then he brought me Carter, and he's like, I think I got the right guy for you. And he's like, I'm kind of alpha. I'm kind of bitchy sometimes. And so he's like, you need somebody like warm and kind and like will help your deals that you're like being aggressive with. And so Carter came on, and we actually saved the deal because he came on at the very beginning. Like we got to the end of, almost to the end of a huge deal where I was double tapping on one side, and I got fired by my clients. They called Eli, and they're like, we want a different agent. And so he gave him to Carter, and then we worked out the deals.
What a great way to get in the game.
Yeah. And we are the most hodgepodge team ever. We are so organic.
Yeah.
Like it's me and Carter, and like we just figured it out as we go.
That's cool. So 2 very different styles, obviously, here of how you can get to the same place. So Carter, how did you become the voice of reason and the calmness?
He texted me, make sure I'm where I'm supposed to be.
Tell us a little bit, same thing. Where were you before real estate? What did you used to do, and what led you to allow Eli to recruit you for Liz's team?
So before real estate, I worked in construction management for about 10 years. At the time in construction management, I said, I'm gonna get my real estate license, just have it as a hobby, whatever. It started taking off, and I liked it a little more than doing the construction management side. So a pandemic hit, that gave me the opportunity to go into real estate full time. And again, Eli, our broker, said, hey, I think you should be on the team. I've got the perfect person for you. He said, I know you don't want that. You've had experience with it before at another brokerage. And I'm like, I'm not sure. So Eli kept messaging me and said, hey, just meet this other person, and I think you should want his job. And that was 2 years ago, and we've made a pretty good team. And like you said, it's kind of hodgepodge. We just kind of do a little bit of everything and help each other out.
Very cool. So, as I was mentioning before, it's very many different ways to set up a team. You can arrange it in very different styles. You can
work percentages the way you do, but it sounds to me that for all of you guys, it's important that you line up with the right person on that team. And would you guys say, and you can go in any order you want to, but what would you say that the key to creating the team and selecting the people, what do you find most important if you're trying to make sure that you fill all the roles within the team so that everyone knows exactly where they're at in terms of, hey, this is your responsibility, this is what I take care of, and or does it vary?
It's had to vary with COVID. It changed
Right.
up so much. I mean, like, what I thought it was gonna look like in the beginning is not at all what it is now. And I gotta tell you too, working really closely with someone,
Sure.
it helps if you have a friendship base. Because I mean, like, it's money and it's, it's business and things can get dicey. And like, you've gotta have that base of friendship of going, you know what, I care about this person more than just they're a paycheck for me,
Sure.
I care about where their career's going, I care about our friendship, and so like, that kind of helps, I think it helps like move things along where, if you're just a plain business partnership, you can get pissy, and I've seen, stuff go bad.
Well, you can trust them and rely on them to do things.
Absolutely.
A little
Especially
bit.
when something goes wrong in a deal, like when we first joined up, having, we weren't friends then, but we kind of like became friends at that time. But just having someone you can trust that aren't going to stab you in the back later on with a deal that goes haywire.
Yeah.
You can talk to them and say, what should I do in this situation? What is your opinion?
It's a good idea to have that trust already built in, because I've seen a lot of teams, there's super large teams here in our, area that have very, very high agent turnover. And those agents, the buyer's agents, listing agents, whatever they are, some of those just get a distaste for real estate in general and being on that team, because it's all about turn and burn, right? Like here's 50 leads, go do, here's your phone, call. And it's not a lot of training, it's not a lot of anything. So if you're going to bring somebody new on, I think having that trust base and also providing them a learning environment to help them succeed is ultimately just going to help you as a team leader, down the line.
Well, and you have to have a service approach to that, because it seems to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the traditional team business model has been I'm the head honcho, I'm gonna spend a bunch of money on online leads so that I can feed I don't have a name for that, but like my agents, so that there is a reason that they want to stay with me. I feel like as a team leader, I've got to keep them busy, therefore, how do I feed them? And that seems to be, in my opinion, working by referral only myself. I think that's part of the past, but there seems to be teams that operate this way still. But for you guys, you have found your success and probably working more on sphere and relationships and trusting within the team. So tell us a little bit about, when you're working as a team, how do you guys bring deals to the table? How are you guys contributing to getting more clients? What's a little bit of your process in terms of developing sphere of influence and just going out and getting business? Carter, I'll start with you. You're close. I put you on the spot. You were looking funny at me. So.
I think the one thing that really works for us as a team is just going out to networking events as a team, showing like a unified body. That, if I'm not available, you're going to have Liz or Cole, and vice versa. If she's unavailable, I'm going to be here for you. We're going to talk about the deals that are going on, and we're going to kind of be informed and not just like be blindsided. Like, hey, my agent's out of town. I need you to pick up on this and kind of take care of this for me.
Very cool. I know for Liz has been like network USA queen of the world for a while. I don't think there's a board or a head that you are not involved with. But that's been pivotal for you to grow your business, and that's where a lot of you're probably experiencing a lot of B2B business in your with your business model. Would that be accurate?
Yeah, absolutely. And I always feel like face-to-face is better than anything else. I mean, you're going to get the best referrals, you're going to get the best networking. I mean, just get out there.
Yeah.
Get out there. It seems obnoxious, and my social media is super obnoxious, I know, but like, even my social media is keeping our basis. The harder to post something, I repost this stuff, and this stuff. I think it's most important to talk about too, is not using my identity, if it doesn't work out, like my face is on the side of this car, my face is on
business cards, it's business team, that's how it. So try to like, and network with everything I'm saying.
Well, that's good advice to agent, whether you're on people or not, just be present. And you gotta be in front of Spear, you gotta be in front of, and, you know, if anybody ever has questions about where we can go, I mean, there's a million things that go on in Lexington and on the surrounding counties that you can attend, just be present, and if you are part of the meeting, like they said, have a unified, you know, goal. People understand that when I'm talking to Liz or Mark or Cole, it's the same thing. They're all going to come there. How about you guys? What are some things you guys are doing? What kind of business are you generating? Are you?
So we have a lot of Spear business that, a lot of people grow business, obviously that's the cornerstone, I think, of any successful team or organization, and all that. Chad, my business partner, he does a lot of neighborhood farms, neighborhood business. Like, great. It's funny, I was actually talking to somebody from his neighborhood that was at a baseball practice. I was talking to him. I bring up real estate in any conversation. I find a way, and it's like I sneak it in there and I start to talk about it. And they were like, yeah, we there's a real estate agent in our neighborhood. He's like the agent of Pleasant Valley. I'm like, oh yeah, my business partner. So he does a really good job of that. I do a lot of traditional. I call for some owners. I call suppliers. Like I do that because I'm good on the phone. I feel like. So there's a million ways to do business. I just got to trigger to it.
Any of you guys dealt with any sort of builder, new construction representation, anything like that? For example, I'm not sure if it's on, and if you do or not, tell us a little bit about that. That seems to be what a lot of people are trying to grow up business, because it's a glamorous sounding style, but there are some challenges that come with that. But have you guys dealt with any?
Yeah, I've done individual builders, several, they're great. It's super easy. Yeah, it is great. Yeah, I just got a good spirit from myself. I actually, I don't know if I should say this loud or not, but so I actually got one of my builders because he had posted on a Facebook group. He put on there and he said, hey, my new building is not selling. What do you guys think? It was just a group. So people were like, oh, I don't know, should we do this? I inboxed him and I said, well, come out there, look at it, and see what's going on. As he used the neighborhood agent, it's the same sign, the yard, it's exactly the same, they don't do anything like that. By the time I left that day, he's like, how do I get rid of them and get you? But like, loyal to them, I got all his brothers, and that whole thing. So,
It's good to see that when you're building something, it's kind of like, I'm a big believer that once you get access to someone's street, you might not get them directly, but you can get their branches. Like that's where you find success, and whether you do it or not, I feel like that should be the goal for developing relationships, whether it be not transactional or long term. So, a little bit on the nitty gritty of this. So, you're on a team. What do you think? How do you feel like your career would be if you were on solo, just by yourself, and you did not have the support of a team? Which, for some people, the support of a team could mean having an admin full-time that handles all the transactions, the more office-based kind of stuff, the marketing, whatever that is. But Jonathan, how do you feel that that's impacted your business, just having a partnership?
So I think even on the smallest thing, I think it's helpful. Like, for example, Chad's out of, he's not in the state right now. I've been to 2 closings for him this week. Sure. Right. He knows that I'm going to do that. It doesn't have to be like, hey man, please, you're not calling random people or random agents trying to get your closings. And I'm getting ready to leave at the beginning of October. It'll be the same thing for me. So just being able to fill in for people, to Liz's point, when you get overwhelmed with, enough stuff going on, you have somebody that you can unload some of that if you need to. And then the admin side is hugely important. Even if you're a single agent, if you're doing more than like 2 to 3 deals a month, you need
Yes,
that.
yes.
I know Amy at the Lifestyle office is excellent at that. She does the closure file. She's very, very good. So, that's, you can't live without that if you're doing more than like 2 or 3 deals a month, for sure.
That's important information.
Yeah.
Delegate so that you can grow.
Yeah.
Free up time to do the things that you can pay somebody a lot less money than what your hourly worth is, which goes to the point on you need to know how much your time is worth. So if you have questions on that, we'll tell you how to measure that up. It's pretty simple. How much did I make? How many hours did I spend doing my business? Divide it up and you'll have your hourly rate. So once you figure that out, if there is anything that you can hire for a lot less that frees you up to do more, that's, because I know Liz in the past, delegating has not come as a first instinct.
No, it does
Correct.
not.
And it took some trust,
Yeah.
but also it took a journey of you continuously grew and you got to a point where it was the only thing you
Yeah.
had no choice,
Mhm.
basically, right?
Yeah, and Amy will tell you, I was kicking and screaming to her. Like, I did not want to, she said, just let me have one of your clients, let me have one of your deals, let me try it and see how you like it. And I haven't touched paperwork since. Like, I could not do the capacity work that we do without her help. And I was screwing stuff all the time.
Very cool.
Team-wise, quality of life was what did it for me. Is vacations, like I'm not at the lake running to the top of the hill trying to get Wi-Fi so I can call somebody. Carter took a vacation and say, hey, Liz, you
Or
got
a few,
stuff.
or a few.
Yeah, or like 6 in a year. It's so funny being part of the team. I'm like, my whole team's on vacation, so I guess I'm running the whole team now. It's okay.
So Carter, how has that, have you noticed the difference? Because I know you're involved also in the education part here, you're doing classes, you're doing a lot of agent services out here, you're kind of a little bit of all over the place with your real estate and what you bring to the table too, but have you noticed the difference in how your time has either freed up or how it gets utilized?
I wouldn't say it's freed up. I feel like Liz has pulled me out of like my shell. I'm a fairly introverted person, and so she's always like sending us.
So you work.
I
work.
understand, I go places.
I'm more extroverted, and so we're out networking at events and stuff, and it's helping the client base grow. Instead of me just doing small amounts of real estate on the sideline, now it's become a full-time career, and I'm feeling more confident in front of new clients that I don't know that aren't from my personal sphere.
Well, it's important. So what everybody here is basically saying is when you collaborate, you grow better, all the parts grow together. And would you say that at the very beginning, when you heard the word team, the first thing that came to mind was, I'm going to have to split my profits or I'm going to make less money?
Oh, dude, anytime.
Was that like the whisper in your back saying, I don't know, man, what if it don't work? What if? And I'm just not willing to give it a shot and maybe having more of a view of, I'm the team leader and what can they do for me versus, so were there any whispers of that at some point where you were hesitant about maybe, going in that direction?
It wasn't a full whisper, it was a full on like.
It was a yell?
Yeah,
Was it
because
like-
I had come from another brokerage and I was on the team with that brokerage and that's how it was. Like, you're basically a call center for that team, with cold leads and whatever you do, you split a huge percentage with the team lead.
Did you ever feel like they were invested in you growing as an agent?
No. And so that's Eli took a lot of convincing to get me to, because it was, like I said, it wasn't a whisper, it was like full on, team, no, not for me.
Gotcha. Okay. How about you, Jonathan? You seem to have a really good relationship from the beginning with your partner. So, and you both have been, I guess, on Carter's role before.
Yeah, so the team thing, I never knew any different, right? When I got my real estate license, I jumped directly onto a team, which I don't regret in the least, because I like to say that I learned like a decade's worth of knowledge, just in a couple of years, because I'm working with people that are doing, high level real estate all the time, every day, And so that was a much better introduction to the business than me just jumping in on my own and just trying to figure it out. And, who knows how long it would take to figure it out on my own. So, but yeah, once we came to Lifestyle, you know, like you said, there's a bunch of different ways to set up a team. Just because you're on a team doesn't mean you have to give up a ton of money. It can be as simple as you're sharing expenses, you're sharing admin, like that, but your deals are still your deals, and, you know, you kind of keep it like that. That's a team. You know, so it's, you can set it up however you want to set it up, it's your business.
That's important information because I think it removes the myth of what a team is supposed to look like. I actually started a team, which I never thought I would, but everything I do in life seems to be random and like, oh, I'm all right. But part of that is it resonates a lot with what these guys are talking about, which is the dividing of duties, expectations of, hey, we're gonna try to grow together, and I'm trying to figure out, you know, the partner, Jose, he's got a strong background in one particular sector, which is on the investment and flipping homes. I do that too, but I'm more of a work the sphere. So it's a way to kind of complement one another. But I think the key is how can we grow everyone on the team? Because at the end of the day, if everybody on the team gets better, the team gets better. So for the new people out there, what would be first steps if you are considering being part of a team as an agent here at Lifestyle? What would be the advice you would give to that person as, hey, first step would be this to see if it's a fit for you? Let's start with you.
I think like interviewing, of course, just go to lunch with somebody and talk to them about what their team looks like. Because that's the thing I love about Lifestyle. It's like, I thought teams had to look like certain lettered
Right.
brokerages, and I thought that's how it had to be. And so when you like me, I was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to take, you know, half of somebody's everything every time or 70% of their stuff. You know, and so be able to make it very organically, but go and interview and just chat with people. I certainly agree with Jonathan that like I think I trudged water for a couple of years because I was on my own and I just had to figure it out. My broker was not super engaged with teaching, and so like I made huge mistakes and could have saved myself a whole lot of pain and effort if I would have been with somebody else, you know. So even if you don't want to belong to a team long term, even if it's a launching place,
Sure.
I think Rachel could speak to that. Even Rachel's in the audience. It was a launching point for her. It made her feel comfortable with somebody that she knew and have a kind of mentor aspect to it. And then she's like, take off, do your own thing. But that's important to be on a team that allows you to do that, that doesn't stick their face on.
That's where interviewing and getting to ask these questions, because I feel like sometimes when I go to the doctor or other professionals, like, I feel like sometimes I don't know what questions to ask.
Yeah.
So for the agents that are either just starting out or considering things, it's almost like, how do you interview a team leader or whatever? So I guess maybe what you do is you talk to everybody on that team.
Yeah.
And see, hey, what do you do here? How are you guys set up? Because I think one thing that we can all agree is we don't have anything to hide out here. We're very open about what we do or not do. And it might be a launching place, like you mentioned, or it might be a permanent thing, depending on how that shapes up. So for someone who is a skeptical and introverted and kind of, so what would you say is the one thing that made you want to listen to that option? And what did you envision? If I do this, I feel like I can get to X that is going to make me feel good about having done this. What's the most important thing that Liz? What's the most important thing that Liz provided for you, or showed you, or did she arm wrestle you down to like you join me and just get it on? It's going to happen anyways. But share that.
I think the one thing that convinced me is when we finally met up in person was that I could tell she was invested in my career growing as well as her team. It wasn't just growing her team, it was she wanted to see my best interest and get them into fruition. And it's a full-time career for me instead of just part-time. So once a year or whatever that was, some probably might be.
I wanted to do all the events.
There was maybe some selfishness on that.
Slide.
There is Uber, but
Yeah.
to be part of the marketing dollars is having a driver. That's one of my
classic. I need
Mine
somebody drive me
too.
around.
Me too.
I want to be like the Lincoln lawyer minus the hair, and I want to sit
Sit
in
in the back and have my
laptop.
laptop. This is.
Yes, but I'm not gonna do the printer, because I want to stay virtual. No printing.
And I think we live too, we're both tall, so we take good pictures together.
There you go.
She can wear
So
the
having
tall-
unity,
tall heels.
having unity in pictures
It's
also.
like, what are you looking at?
Very
first?
important, right? So, that's fantastic. All right. I think I've covered none of the questions we're going to do, but, which is to be expected. What is the one piece of advice in real estate that you wish somebody had given you, or that you have to give to somebody in general? And I know it's a vague general question, but what's the one thing you wish you had known before you got in this gig? Whether it's, flying solo or being a team member in real estate.
Consistency. Stay consistent with your clients, with your partners. Just be consistent.
Don't hop around and changing things, having a goal, and like, this is what I want to do, and
I'm not saying don't change things up to better.
No, sure.
Continually work at it.
Gosh, one thing, there's so many things.
come on, Liz, I asked you a
I
little bit.
know. It should be the Liz
Just a
show.
little.
Um,
We'll do another one of these.
Yay!
Go a little wider with it. Whatever makes
Fantastic. I guess when I got into real estate, I came from a nursing background of nurturing.
Yep.
And I didn't realize how aggressive I'm gonna have to make myself. Like, it doesn't come super naturally to me. I'm a nurturer and a fixer by nature, but like in deals, I've got a bad reputation of kind of being bossy and.
You think commercial deals, girlfriend?
Yes, I'm telling you, but I mean, that if I would have learned that a little bit early on, how to balance that, still be, still be kind and kind to other agents and that sort of thing. But sometimes you have to put on your boots and do what you gotta do.
So be ready for battle. That's what Liz said.
That's not horrible.
No.
I'd say treat it like a job, because it is one, it's a hobby. We should treat it like a hobby, or think of it as a hobby, because this is, our clients, it's their biggest financial asset, so if you're going to be a, extreme professional with those assets, then you don't really deserve to represent them, right? Part of that is treating it like a job, which I was told immediately, but I didn't really take to heart immediately until it proved itself that I needed to treat it like a job. And I think especially when you're on your own, and a lot of times that's one benefit of a team, is that accountability. If you have team members, if you have partners, whatever, you guys can hold each other accountable, and that's super important in this job. It's very easy to wake up on a Thursday and be like, what did I do the last 3 days? I don't remember. So, treat it like a job.
That's great advice. And we live in such a 30, 60, 90 day time frame in this business that for people that used to work, every 2 weeks you get paid or whatever, that is just kind of getting your head wrapped around the fact that you are no longer operating on quick trigger stuff. And you have it's almost like you planted 8, 10, 15 different fields and they all grow at a different rate. That's something I wish somebody had told me, like, hey dude, when you make a plan for your business, keep in mind that it's 12 months in a year, but some things might be a year and a half down the road, and some things might be a month down the road. And kind of having that and setting boundaries with clients and other agents, which I think is something that's very important, is making sure that you have to be assertive, you're assertive, but you keep those boundaries and making sure that we always keep our clients' best interest at heart, because on those months where you are on full commission, we've all been there, bills are due, you're starting to feel a little bit of that stress, that's when we get to show that we got to stay consistent and do the right thing, no matter what the state of our account looks like. So that will be my collaboration. So anything you want to add before we go to a Q&A that might or might not take place? Well,
I think I have a question, y'all.
Hey, anything you want to add? Your chance to shine. All right. Audience, any questions, anything you guys want to ask, any comments?
Dylan, think of something.
Dylan, come up with some guests. We have some questions.
Well, for Jonathan Carter, would you say that you brought aspects of your
first team to your new team, or did you like refine and like kind of nitpick your old team so you could kind of more line out what your team model should, what you wanted it to look like? Because obviously we have some different types of teams that form. So like I know like your alls are different. There's a partnership versus a more of like a team. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of rambling now, but you know what I mean.
A hodgepodge.
A hodgepodge.
Yes, watch.
Yeah.
Version, yes.
Well, I mean, my business partner Chad and I both took a lot from our previous teams. We've had, conversations where we kind of break down the way that lead generation worked, the way the follow-up worked, the way database management worked, and kind of, using the best parts of both, because obviously those came from very successful teams, so they're doing something right. They're not doing everything right, but they're doing things right. So using those success metrics and implementing them into our partnership on the way that we do things has been very impactful,
Right.
for sure.
You can keep all the good stuff you got from the team and
Get rid of all
the bad stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the goal.
Right.
For sure.
I kind of second that. I mean, just kind of refining the good and saying, this is what I'm looking for in a team, this is not what I'm looking for in a team. It's just kind of maybe, like I said, our amalgamation of a team, but something that you thought calm, I guess.
And how was it for you to jump right in to the water? You were brought on by.
Calling me the water?
Brought on by, but I mean that deal that you had almost lost. How was it to like jump right in and like with a deal?
I mean, it was a huge deal.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Were you stressed a little bit? Like were you?
Yes and no, because I had done real estate before, so it wasn't like everything was all new to me. It's just like, where did it start going wrong? How can I kind of go in, fix the missing pieces, put it in the cogwheels that were not there to make the deal finish up? Because I came in like 3 weeks before the deal was set to close, and they were like, final pieces were ready to go, and everybody's like back down. So it's like, here you go.
Troubleshooting from day one, basically,
There was
right?
3 sets of clients. I mean, I was.
3 sets.
Well, I was buying and selling on one side, and then I had the buyers for that property.
Wow.
Like, it was like,
Wow.
I would not recommend that, y'all. Let me just say, I have never double tapped again, because that was just, it's a nightmare. It's not fair to your clients. I do not understand.
Well, just to kind of jump on that, that probably is one of the better benefits of having a team is you can basically do a designated agency within the team.
We do that all the time. Like, I've got a property to sell that you buy, I hand it to Cole and Carter.
That way, we can talk to our clients and be like, hey, conflict of interest is never going to be an issue here. We're going to make sure that you're taken care of.
That's one of my listing appointment sales pitches, focus on selling your house. I'm not taking you to every county to show you
Right.
everything. Carter's gonna be your personal shopper, he's gonna make sure you get the house you want, and we work seamlessly together to make sure everything goes perfectly.
Very cool.
Do I lie sometimes?
Embellish.
Yes, very embellished.
Very cool.
Question.
Go ahead.
Do you have a favorite tool or technology or process that just your team would not work without, or you would recommend to someone on a team or not?
So we use Follow Up Boss as our database. I find that Follow Up Boss is the easiest database software. Obviously, everybody has their favorite. It's whatever one you use is the right one for you, right? But we like Follow Up Boss, and we've connected that with a company called White Lobo that designed a custom website for us and does back-end Google lead generation and SEO stuff for us. So that's all kind of, built together, and I like it a lot. They're internet leads, so they are what they are, but they're out there, our website is out there, and it's getting a lot of unique visitors every day, which is cool to watch.
And we use maybe 4, of course, but I tell you, the one tool that is most successful for us is social media. I mean, it is free freaking money. If you're not utilizing it to your umpteen, then you're leaving stuff behind. I'm in somebody's face 3-4 times a day. They will never forget I did real estate. So I mean, like, and then, just having to be consistent using word, is it like Maxa? Maxa is the name?
Maxa,
Maxa, yeah, so.
fantastic. Even I
Use
use it.
Maxa, so it looks clean, our posting, so when we sell something, it all looks the same across all three of us, but it's our individual pictures on there. Social media,
I see you guys have a couple times here. But the Maxa really is, everybody knows I am almost averse to technology. I'm old school. That's not looking, I don't have to log on to a TV board still. After all this year. But the Maxa has been like a great way to get stuff out to the, I'm more of a Facebook guy too, because it is free and that's when I feel like I'm actually reaching people I know or who know me. And it's nice to have that nice, easy, consistent look and it's super easy to work. So.
It was that, I used Canvas, I did it.
Yeah. Very cool. Awesome. Any other questions from these fine audience? All right, I'm going to ask you one last thing. What are your, any kind of personal or professional goals that you have for the rest of this year, maybe next year?
Just to keep growing. Never stop growing, working on yourself, personal and career wise.
On the personal, any trips, any restaurants, anything fun to do that you want to?
He's going back to Miami.
Any fun
We're going-
trips
we're going-
that you
we're
want to
going-
work hard to achieve and be able to do?
His condo in Miami.
Yes, Miami, that's.
All right.
Like, downtown Miami's big. It's a lot of fun to
Fair enough. Okay. How about you, Lisa?
I'm a numbers girl. I really love next year to hit 30 million for our team. 10 million each would be amazing. Would love that. And then personal, I guess, Rachel and I have been talking about health and wellness. And so like
Hold on.
business is going amazing. So many things in my life are going amazing. So my health is the next thing. I'm like taking myself to, I want to age backwards like Rachel, maybe do that style.
Or at least stop and talk a little bit. Right?
Amen.
Good for you. How about you, Jonathan?
Yeah, so I think, just finishing out this year strong, is important. I like numbers too, so next year, 20 million is kind of the number that I have in mind for our team. And so that's the goal. It's a stretch goal, but we're gonna make it, so it's fine. Personally, I have the same goal every year personally, and that's to take 4 family vacations a year, 1 a quarter. I usually don't hit that, I'm usually done with 3, but I'm gonna shoot for 4 again next year, figure it out.
That's a great goal to, even if you're stuck at 75%,
Yeah.
you're killing it.
Yeah.
That's sometimes
Manifest
it's
it, put it out
it's
there.
almost like 2 or 3 more than most people do. So,
Not Carter.
right? Now, Carter might be a bit on the communication side, but, he works hard for it. And,
Yes, he does.
Carter, he treated people to enjoy it like everyone should, so, well, that's very cool. Unless there's anything else, we're gonna call it. Thanks for being here. We got you out on time. I had to schedule it once. Did not follow the script as usual. So hopefully, everybody, gets a good benefit out of this, and thanks for coming, guys.
Yeah.